How's it going, YouTube? You guys are back with Next Tech Edit, and today I want to talk about one thing, and that's going to be the iMac Pro. So let's go ahead and get started. I picked this one item out of the WWDC just because it's the one thing I want to focus on, it's the one thing that stood out to me, and it's the one thing that I want the most. If you want to watch some of the other things, there's a bunch of other YouTubers that cover little bits and pieces of the whole entire event. Go ahead and watch those. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and get into the specs of this and why I think, anyone that could really use it should go ahead and buy it. So to start off, if you do any sort of film editing or video editing in general, photography, graphic art, anything like that, the 5K display on this 27-inch screen is going to be just amazing. I know they already have one out in the lower end versions of the iMac, but what they're putting in this thing is just insane. Basically, they're calling it the most powerful Mac yet. It comes with an 8-core processor, and that's being the Xeon processor, up to a 10-core, and then up to an 18-core. So you have 3 choices to pick from. Of course, the base $5,000 model being the 8-core Xeon processor. Now, as far as graphics are concerned, it does come with the Radeon Vega graphics with up to 16 gigabytes of VRAM at 400 gigabytes a second. Now that's just some crazy specs right there, and I know you can build some things like that, and there's some things that are kind of comparable out there, but those cost more than what Apple has their base model at the moment. Now, as far as teraflops go, this starts off at 11 teraflops. Basically, it's computing power. I think the Xbox One or the Xbox One S or Scorpio, whatever it is 6 teraflops or 6.5 teraflops. The new iMac Pro can go up to 22 teraflops. Now, the max thing that this can hold is 122 gigabytes of ECC memory. The base model will come with 32 gigabytes. Again, with some of the memory, the hard drive is going to be a max of 4 terabytes at 3 gigabytes a second, with the base model coming in at 1 terabyte a second. Not 1 terabyte a second, 1 terabyte of an SSD at 3 gigabytes a second. Now, on the back of this thing, there's going to be 4 Thunderbolt ports. Basically, what Apple said is you could go ahead and add 2 5K displays and 2 RAID arrays that basically you could do pretty much anything with. At that point, if you did connect 2 5K displays, you'd be putting out 44 million pixels, which is just crazy for anything to handle, especially with this new iMac Pro and that Radeon Vega graphics card. And one thing that didn't really stand out to me, but it is important to some people and a lot of people probably, is the 10 gigabyte built-in Ethernet port. So that's pretty cool. Now, that's pretty much everything for the Mac specs. Basically, now is just to go ahead and tell you what's going to come in the base configuration for the $49.99 price point, $5 grand. Basically, you're going to get the Retina display with the 8 Xeon core processor. You're going to get a version of the Radeon graphics card, and then on top of that, you're going to get 32 gigabytes of the ECC memory, which, like I said earlier, is upgradable to 128 gigabytes. Now, still will come with a terabyte of space. It's 1 terabyte SSD at 3 gigabytes a second, and the ports are still going to be there. The Thunderbolt 3 and the 10 gigabyte Ethernet port are going to be built in, and this is all for $5,000, and that is their base model. They didn't give prices on their top models, but we'll probably find out a little bit closer to December, which would be nice to know because that is, like I said, one thing I am interested in. That should be a desktop that lasts you for years, unless programs and stuff like video files start becoming a real nuisance as far as speed and stuff like that. Otherwise, you should be set. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely leave it a thumbs up if you did. Comment below if you want to hear about another product that you want to go into a little bit of depth on. Definitely, like I said, like, share, and definitely subscribe to keep an eye out for future videos. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.